Take your seats. Once again, good morning to you. I would like to welcome you at today's very important meeting for LOTOS Group. During the presentation for the key presentation of the program Effectiveness and Rise 2013-2015, Marcin Zachowicz and I am the spokesperson for the group, and I will be very glad to conduct today's presentation. And I would like to welcome the persons present, the parliamentarists, also the presidents of the companies of WIG20 index and shareholders of our company, the representatives of the capital market, including our host, Adam Maciejewski, the president of the Warsaw Stock Exchange, representatives of media, and also the members of the supervisory boards of members of LOTOS Group, with the chairman, Mr. Skwarka. And also, I would like to invite to the stage the members of the management, Paweł Lachnowicz. Please, Mr. President of the Management Board, you are invited to take the seat. Marek Sokołowski, the Vice President, responsible for operational issues. Maciej Szozda, the Vice President responsible for commercial activities. Mariusz Machajewski, Vice President responsible for the company's finance. And Zbigniew Paszkowicz, the Vice President responsible for the hydrocarbons, for the exploration and the search. Now I would like to give the floor to Mr. President Lachnowicz. Please, the floor is yours. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you. I'm very glad that despite the beginning of summer and beginning of the holiday period, that I can see such high attendance. And in the process of in our decision-taking process today, we can present the program Effectiveness and Rise. We've been working on this program, I would say, forever, but continuously working on such changes. We've been working when the program 10 Plus ended. We were looking for further new ideas and the transformations of the company, and that was how the idea was born of this program Effectiveness and Rise. And we would like to present this program to you to inform the capital market about our assumptions, about our strategy, what it is, and how it looks like. With your permission, I would like to say a few words about how LOTOS Group is developing, what are the achievements, because the basis for our future are our achievements and how we've been doing so far. So this development program for LOTOS Group, starting from the transformations from the Gdańsk refinery plant, starting from 2002. And here in this graph, you can see our biggest achievements, not only the major, but also including our listing in 2005 and funding funds for the development of the horizontally integrated LOTOS Group. But also you can see that thanks to different ideas and projects, expansion of business expansion, capital expansion, how LOTOS Group was developing from 4 billion zloty revenues for 33 billion zloty. And this is one of the most interesting development groups on our market. Some data relating to that period, 2012. The growths are spectacular, as the graph showed. But I will not talk about percentages here because I don't want to make that much impression. But I would like to highlight the weight of changes and the size of the changes and of achievements, and of course the value of the changes. Capital Group is 5,000 employees now. And we are very well perceived thanks to our achievements, to our effects, to results. We are the second company in terms of revenues in Poland, and the sixth company in Central and Eastern Europe. As for the structure of our shareholding structure, 53.19 belongs to the state treasury, and the ING-OFE almost more than 5%, and the rest is free float, 41.5%. Dispersed shareholders. The capital group consists of different segments within which we have our companies, our subsidiaries, and they have the name starting from LOTOS, and the second part of the name reflects the nature of the business. So what the company is specializing in, and depending on which market the company operates, whether it is in Poland or Lithuania or Norway or any other places. All the time we've been led by a role that the company, when analyzing the market, understands the market and wants to understand it even deeper. So how the stakeholders are behaving on the market, and how we shall perceive the behavior and how we shall change it. We are aiming at excellence. We haven't maybe reached that 100% excellence, and that we haven't reached the level which will make us, let's say, feel like fully experienced and nothing ahead of us. We will still be learning. In last year, we approved the strategy of CSR, corporate social responsible, in a very balanced, sustainable way, which realizes different scopes of activities referring to environment, to corporate governance, to ethics, or to a human being as the most important asset in our capital group. And also this who works in the company, who cooperates with the company, and who also exists in the environment, and the appropriate treatment of a human being in our structure is very important for us, is a crucial factor in our development. Because I would like to talk about the projects, and I don't want to make you feel bored. I will not maybe be that extensive. We are listed according to Respect Index and the VIC20 Index, and it looks that we are welcome at the stock exchange. We would like to reinforce our position and be perceived as a positive company for the stakeholders, and first of all, and for the shareholders. Analyzing the situation, what we'll have to do in future, how we shall behave in future, taking into account the events on the market and the crisis, never-ending crisis, after realization of very difficult program in a very difficult environment, the 10+ program with very promising result, with very positive results. We were thinking what we shall do next. Our company doesn't know how to do in a different way. We are constantly changing, and we are getting more and more excellent. That is why we cannot perform in a different way. We cannot analyze our past history, but only from this perspective as a company which is continuously changing and making all the time the changes which are in the environment, in a very fastly changing environment, it is very difficult. So if we stop, we will worsen our situation. these who are not chasing the market and who are not making the appropriate changes over time, and there are shorter and shorter periods for making changes, so this will lag behind the market and will change their position. So the slogans that I've chosen, so it means that changes the right direction, and we did not have that big problem with choosing that direction. So we have a program, effectiveness and rise. This is the slogan which we are led by, and we are fueled by this slogan together. We know how to win, but we've made many changes, many transformations. We've built the company from refinery, LOTOS group, which is very significant on the market, on a very difficult market. We achieved a lot. So we've made a lot. We've made even sometimes impossible things. We know how to do it. By analyzing the situation, we first of all accept challenges, more and more difficult challenges, but it doesn't mean that we know how to make them. But because we are in this environment in which many think how to survive, we define our position as the position more competitive to win better situation on the market. Effectiveness and growth, this is in the company's functioning. So we have the two components which interlink and which are complementary. They have the same. So this is the internal part, internal capital restructuring of the assets of LOTOS Capital Group, aiming at the improvement of optimization, cost optimization, concentrating on core business. And the second element, this is the business expansion plan. So additional businesses, additional scopes of our activities. The purpose of this program is the concentration on core business activity or on core businesses, simplification of the groups, of the capital structure and also the management structure of LOTOS Group, and releasing resources for the realization of development programs and the creation for the released assets, the possibilities of further expansion and growth. We say that we know what it means. 10 years ago, we realized the program for the restructuring of Gdańsk refinery. We were creating legal entities at that time, and we were giving them the chances for their further growth, not only functioning. The example, the Department of Rail Transport, 5 old engines transporting 160 tons of products a year from the refinery to the port and backwards. So now 10.5 million of transport, 100 engines, 850 employees. Fantastic company, transport company on the market, functioning not only on the Polish territory, but also having licenses and realizing transports also within the European Union. We have many such companies within our group. This is not the core business in the development process. We cannot focus on the development of this structure. We say a daughter company, this daughter which is quite mature and is almost ready to get married. We are looking for a solution which will allow us to leave the capital group, also adding value and also releasing our potential to be utilized, directed at core business, and creating also the possibilities for further dynamic growth of such created entity. So we take care of people, we take care of our business, of our development, and we take care of what we have created so far. So this is the nature of the changes that we've planned. The program supports the realization of the strategy or fulfills this strategy by the year 2015. If this strategy is based upon 3 segments in which we invest, so the basic direction, exploration and production of hydrocarbons, operational activity and additional projects, and also the trading part. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like now the bosses responsible for a particular segments in LOTOS Group, the heads of these segments, I would like to give floor to them, and they will present to you the development assumptions, or they present to you the projects which are embraced under this effectiveness enterprise. Zbigniew Leszkowicz, the president of the management of Petro Baltic, but also the president of LOTOS Group S.A. Ladies and gentlemen, I have this pleasure to give you a description of several products which we are planning to implement in order to be within the energy safety, to ensure that the energy that is needed for the development of our economy, that this energy is guaranteed thanks to our own exploration. First of all, we are planning to concentrate on the Baltic Sea potential. Baltic Sea has a huge potential. We have 7 concessions, exploration concessions, and we are applying to the ministry for the further concessions. We are planning to get the concession accordance to the Słupsk eastern part and Słupsk western part in the coming months. And as for the further expansion, we are planning to have the appropriate documentation, environmental documentation, and geological documentation to have the appropriate licenses and concessions. So the confirmation of 30 million tons, this is the potential, these are the potential resources which through seismic research, through drilling jack rigs, we are planning to confirm in the coming future. In order to fulfill this goal, we started to the searching of the appropriate tool, the drilling jack rig, which will replace the tool that is used so far, a Petro Baltic platform. So this is a 300 class, which enables us the realization of the works at the depth up to 90 meters. And part of our concessions is also for the deeper waters at a depth of 120 meters. So that is why there is a decision to attract this tool, which will enable us the realization of works under all concessions that we hold in order to fully verify the potential of the production of crude oil and gas on the Baltic Sea. Up to now, we've been realizing this project starting from the 90s. We've been leading production. Our subsidiary LOTOS Petro Baltic has production on B3 resource deposit. This is very good deposit, very professionally managed and explored, guaranteeing stable income, stable productions at the level of 150,000 tons. The concessions, exploration concession for this deposit, we are hold by mid-2016, but thanks to the optimal process of exploration process and thanks to the creation of the model, we know that this potential, this production, being fully economically justified, we can extend in time. We are planning this year, in the second half of this year, we are trying to apply the documents to obtain the concession to the Ministry of Environment, justifying the logic of the extension of the concession and their durability by another 10 years. So it means by mid-2026. The average yearly, we would like to attract 100,000 tons. This is very good result. And by 2026, thanks to our attempts, altogether we will attract 1 1.5 million tons of that very precious raw material, this gold, this black gold, which is highly valued at the stock exchanges. Over $100 per barrel. And also we would like to maximize the production, and even this year we would like to include into exploration our manless PG1 platform. This facility which is on safety reasons was excluded from exploitation in 2010, but today, thanks to the intensification of engineering works, we have a project which has already been implemented, which will allow us first of all, environmentally safe re-inclusion of this facility into exploitation and access to two drills, production holes. And thanks to such attempts, at the end of this year, we will increase the production on the Baltic Sea, thanks to this platform, by 25,000 tons yearly. This is the increase by 15%. The full implementation of our experience in project management, which we gained in LOTOS thanks to very smooth realization 10+ program. The next project, which we are very proud of, the project that we are realizing with very good specialized a company in this field, in the exploration field, Coal Energy Company. This company that we signed an agreement at the end of last year, and on the basis of that agreement, jointly we will be exploiting the gas deposits B4 and B6, also localized on the Baltic Sea. In accordance with that agreement, by September next year, the deposits will be confirmed. Preliminarily, we talk about 4 billion cubic meters of gas on both these deposits, B4 and B6. And this will be possible thanks to the conducting of seismic research, D3 technique, which have already been contracted. The specialized ship, which is now operating on the North Sea, has been contracted, and it will sail to the Baltic Sea, starting the appropriate activities in September this year. And having such specialized equipment on our waters, we would like, and we've planned already, we have very high advanced talks to expand such research also with regard to other concessions which are applicable to the Baltic Sea, which are held by us. We are a single operator, and I'm talking about the concession Gaz Południe. After the completion of the research conducted with Coal Energy, will be expanding, will be penetrating further the Baltic Sea using specialized equipment. We are planning, after the confirmation of our potential, we developed the field, starting the production at 2016, at the turn of 2016 and 2017. The gas, which will be explored in this way, we are analyzing the technological possibilities, the transport possibilities directly to our refinery plant in Gdańsk. This will be possible thanks to the pipeline, having 130 kilometers pipeline, and the gas will be supplied directly to our refinery, will be very effectively used for one of two purposes: technological, for the production of hydrocarbons, or the generation of heat with the use of the boilers or furnaces. A very important flagship project, which is realized in Petro-Baltic company, dependent company, is the development of B8 field. This is the open field of the confirmed potential, minimum 3.5 million tons. This is 3.5 million tons on our concession. This is the daily exploration. So we have to have a special pump and to pump up those barrels of black gold, having a value over $100 per each barrel. We have on this field 8 holes made, 5 production, 3 and these blocking holes, they are needed in order to have the pressure stabilized, to optimize the way of using also this field as we've been doing it so far with regard to B3 field. The potential exploration 3.5 million tons, and we are estimating that after the launching of the production from that field, yearly we will attract 230,000 tons. So in accordance with the schedule that has been adopted, the starting of the production will take place at the end of 2015. At this moment, we are in the process of a tender procedure. We got offers. They are in accordance with our assumptions, budgetary expectations, and the schedule expectations. We will get a partner in the second half of July. This year, we would like to finalize this process to sign a contract and also to enter the realization path with regard to this project. So will trigger the purchases even this year, and this field will be launched through the transformation of the drilling platform Petrobaltic that we have, which will be realized in one of the Polish shipyards. And this project will be kind of an engine for our Polish shipyard industry. Shipyard works will start in mid-2014, and in accordance with the plan, we will end in mid-2015. We also cooperate with our company PGNiG with regard to our possibility to enter the potential of a company to the land operations. We are interested in the development of our operations on land. We are running advanced talks, and also the contract signed on this slide. You can see 3 concessions that are indicated. This is the concessions with regard to which we started joint works. Iłowo, Górowo i Łowieckie, Bartoszyckie in the eastern part of Poland, and we would like to start very intensive works with our partner in Szczecin Kamień Pomorski, where our geologists estimated that there are very considerable deposits of crude oil, which we would like to confirm through drilling. This cooperation we are planning to develop in such a way that Petrobaltic will be present not only on the Baltic Sea, but also on land. We have competences in this field. We have the dependent company in Lithuania which operates on land, and we are in a position to effectively start activities also in Poland, which is one of our strategic goals. Now I would like to give the floor to present the plans in operating segments. So the floor is given to Marek Sokołowski, Vice President of the Management Board. Thank you very much. I would like to welcome you. 2 years ago, we completed the huge investment project 10 plants. We are now consuming the effects of that huge program. We are in the group of biggest refineries in Europe. We are qualified in such a way. We increase the volume of the converted crude oil and also the quality of the conversion. For over 10 years, we are also being subject to international audits so that we can classify ourselves in cost terms and also in quality terms of the conversion of the crude oil. As for the costs, especially consumption of energy, this is the basic parameter cost parameter in the conversion of the crude oil. We are in the leading positions also in terms of technologies and the depth of conversion. We are among the best refineries in Europe, but still we have pressure on margins on the market, on changes on the market, and this makes us go in this direction in order to increase conversion, to effectively convert the crude oil to produce fewer low margin products or with negative margin. I'm thinking about here high sulfur fuel oil and also about different asphalt products. So our strives are grouped here into directions. The first is the deepening of the conversion of the crude oil, and the second is the extension or the lengthening of the production process in order to to have further conversion of our products. I think I've pressed the wrong maybe button. I would like to move to further slide. One of our very effective investments. This is the hydrogen recovery unit. This is the smaller 100 million zloty investment we are realizing over the next 2 years, and this is the replacement. I mean, this is kind of attracting certain quantity of hydrogen from the streams used as the fuel oil. So it gives us the growth of the light products. The continuation of the development, why the growth continued, why the project for heavy residue. I've said that each refinery, each producer, so everybody aims at producing as little heavy residue as possible, because this is the product which will disappear on the market mainly for ecological reasons and also due to limitations of utilization. So that product was used in the past in the power industry quite extensively, but now the market is shrinking, and over the next 2 years there will be the quality limitations, and that is why our direction to leave this market after the realization of this program 10 plus. Still, we are producing and we are manufacturing 2 million tons of heavy products, but some of these products we convert into asphalt, but this market is not developing, and this year it is shrinking after different subsidies or booms of the road developments. And the second issue, for the production of this high sulfur fuel oil, we are consuming also high value distillates. And the market for fuels is orientated at this medium distillates, which is the most liquid product. And the next element is the margin that I've been talking about. The margin for this is $100 and $200 above the crude oil price, and the high sulfur fuel oil is negative value. It is within the boundaries of 200. That is why coking technology, which has relatively low costs, investment costs. What does it mean relative? These are, of course, significant costs, but we can say relative costs because we had the base project, we bought licenses for this installation, and the investment cost is 430 million euro. We've been working for such issues in order to find a way of financing This installation solves or will solve all the issues relating to heavy residue. The whole amount of heavy residue could be converted into fuels of middle fraction. So there is no growth here of the conversion of the crude oil, 1.5 million tons, more or less, up to 2 million tons of heavy residue will move to high margin products. Very good parameters of this technology, above IRR above 20%. So technology is known all over the world. Many such installations are in the United States and also recently they are also in Europe, and recently such installation was built all in Spain, in Turkey, and also Hungary. And in Hungary, the potential was increased, of coking potential was increased. I started to talk about margins. This is the simulation of the model margin, or refining margin. And at this moment, this margin is about $6, $4 to $6 per barrel of crude oil. And we expect that in the simulation calculation, we assume that in 2017, this margin will, after building the coking installation, that can increase by $2, even more per 1 barrel. Today, it may be much less, $1, but I've said that the market, or the distance between the prices for fuel oil and the light products, the market analysts, they assume that this margin will be increasing, so also the margin volume, refining margin volume will increase. That was the project that referred to our internal assets and also the depth of the crude oil conversion. But the second project, petrochemistry project, we call that project petrochemistry in Gdańsk, strategic determinants of the project. So this is the lengthening of the conversion process of crude oil. And also in connection with this, in particular, it refers to the light fractions, the raw petrol gases, refining gases, LPG. And for petrol, you know that the market is shrinking. That is why we are thinking about further conversion of petrols. What else we can add? This is, at this moment, project which is at an early stage. We have feasibility study completed. And I think that in midsummer we will know more about this project. Of course, this project is considerably more expensive. The capex, the 2 billion zloty, this is the capex expenditures of dollars, but we are considering it in different variants. The two basic variants is one is petrochemistry, and the other one is the production of aromatics. As you can see, part of the installations of the main petrochemical installations will be localized in Gdańsk, and part of the installations will also be localized in the south, in Azoty Group. We have this agreement, so we assume that we'll have the also cooperation in this field with such big project. This also will have the repercussions, not only economic repercussions or image repercussions for LOTOS Group, but also nationwide repercussions, because this is a very big project. Also, we will implement new technologies, the guarantee of implementing new technologies and the new workplaces. This is the new plant that will be created. The external partners, as the president has said at the beginning, President Olechnovich, we also stipulate the concentration on this core business. We are looking for partners for certain our activities, which could be outsourced or we can look for external partners, investment partners. And here shortly, these are the supplies of the heating energy from innovative sources. We've been looking for an investor for the heating plant based upon gas turbines. Also the supply of hydrocarbons for coaxing installations. So it means the layout of over the fence. So it means lowering the outlays for coking and finding partner which will supply hydrogen as a product for this installation. And also in this complex, we stipulate the sale of certain assets of hydrogen production. And we have now hydrogen is an essential stream, and such internal medium in the refinery. We have two manufacturing plants of hydrogen recovery. In certain installations, we can sell out in order to have cash for other investments. And the collections and the logistics from coke, when we assume that this market is not the refinery market, is quite a rich market, and there is a demand in Europe, but we don't want to specialize in this field, so we will withdraw with some investments. And once again, we stipulate petrochemistry worded differently, or the complex of aromatic complex. So these are the key investments and the two directions. Of course, I haven't mentioned about many other investments which in this year were completed. At this moment, we have completed and are in operation the furnaces on one of the installations. This is increased efficiency, and what is very visible right now, for 1 week. If you enter from the Warsaw side, I think now we have a ring road, but so you will not see the flames that were so characteristic starting from the beginning of that company. It means for 40 years. At this moment, this gas that was burned is put inside the circulation again. So these are lesser losses. Now the marketing segment, Mr. Maciej Szozda. Ladies and gentlemen. So effectiveness and rise in marketing segment, we divided into two pillars. First of all, the concentration on core business, trading in fuel oils, lubricants, and also the improvement of optimization in the whole LOTOS group in terms of logistics and trading in heavy residues and jet fuel. In accordance with the strategy, by the end of 2015, we were supposed to maintain 30% share in market. We've reached it already in 2011, but the basic pillar, the stable pillar, is the retail network. Over 1 year and a half, starting from July 2011 to the end of 2012, we have built a new nationwide petrol network under name Optima Stations Network. And by the end of the year 2015, in this segment, we'll have new stations, up to 250 stations, and LOTOS will be one of the biggest pillars of our strategy in terms of the development of the retail network. And also we include stations of working day MOP. It means the places of travelers service. We have 11 along highways. By the end of 2015, we will have 7 stations serving travelers, up to 18 stations along the expressways and highways. We started the standardization of our image. This is the image of our station, the image, our logo, which we've been replacing, and this will be the future image of our petrol station. It is still new image, so maybe a little bit shy, but you know that it will be beautiful. Then optimization, trading and optimization, very important element of the project, which is maybe not very that media project. We've changed the philosophy in supplying our refinery in crude oil. The forward and spot contracts we limited to the necessary minimum, which guarantees the safety for the refinery. This is 55% of contracting, and the remaining volume of crude oil we are contracting on spot for spot transactions, especially at such moments of market development as we have now. It is very essential because today the quotations for the crude oil plus 40% cents. So the Russian crude oil is more expensive, and thanks to this, not having that many contractual commitments in forward contracts, we can buy through spot contracts from different directions, earning more money on them. We are working on the diversification of our export through sea channel and by land. We are optimizing the transport costs. We've organized our chartering. We are not spending money on intermediaries in this field. We are building also the position of the regional market integrator. We, being the company localized in the direct vicinity of Nafta port, we are providing services for other refineries from land through export of their volumes from our resources and the collection of these volumes in different parts of the country. So we all save money on logistics. We are also learning the trading in crude oil. We will have our own exploration, and our own exploration will be for us, will be served by our by ourselves, so that we can maximize our margin through conversion and trading. Optimization of logistics optimization is something that is not visible, but it's something that is very costly. And if this logistics operates in a good way, then we have a success. One of our competitive advantages is very well organized logistics, and that we will still improve it. We've organized on the basis of LOTOS, Jasło and Czechowice, 2 new companies, and we organized the company which will manage the infrastructure of both plants. And the other company will manage all the terminals, which will dispersed in different branches of the company. So concentrating the service and the management in one economic entity, we will generate additional effect and additional value for the company, and we will generate the possibilities of development for that company. LOTOS Oil. We are the leader on the market in terms of the lubricants, brand oil and lube sales. This leader's position, we can offer full service, also oil service and lubricating technology for such companies like the steelworks, like huge industrial plants, where we offer all possible fragments of this service, starting from oils for the vehicles to machines, and also this the lubricating service. We are developing also on international markets recently, especially on Eastern markets. We've noted the growth of contracting, and recently our customer became Hitachi company, Russia, and on Russian market, and especially very intensively this company is developing on the Russian market. As for the key activities in LOTOS Asphalt, it was already mentioned that the asphalt market is shrinking. We do not want to wait when it can shrink totally. We know that the European Union capital injection will result in the redevelopment of this business in Poland. But because in Poland we have temporary standstill, so we are opening the fuel base in Romania. The asphalt base in Romania. In Romania, a lot is being built. We are more and more active on the southern markets, on international markets, and in Poland we are working on new technologies, highly conversed asphalt products as modified asphalt are on our offer, and also thanks to such products we can enrich our portfolio and expand our offer by those high margin products. Lotos Rail, the company, Lotos Kolej, a company which stopped having kind of expansion possibilities, and what we gave Lotos Kolej, the transport contracts we've already given, and we cannot give more because we are not assuming such development. But this company has potential, wants to develop, and will develop. That is why we started works relating to finding a suitable partner for the company, so that the company can develop further dynamically as up to now. 1 week ago, on the 25th of June, we signed a joint venture agreement with RBP, a company selling 50% of share in our company. This is a different dimension of us, of the jet fuel sales. Yesterday, we started activities at the airport in Krakow. We've attracted new airlines for our service, Israeli and Norwegian Airlines. We have more and more orders, and thanks to the marriage with BP, we can offer fuels also on the third markets. We have joint plans as for the international expansion, and we can also provide a very comprehensive offer for the airlines, which are limitless. And thanks to our company, the companies can contract fuel not only in Poland but also on international markets. Thank you very much. Now we would like the president of the company to give his part of presentation. I would like maybe to add a few words as for the financial consequences of the program that we will be realizing, and you received already information about the development projects in LOTOS Group SA, which are realized partially through by us, but sometimes in cooperation with other partners. And of course, this gives us excellent platform for the future development. And also I would like to remind you that this Effectiveness and Rise program does not only consist of the development projects, it also consists of the restructuring projects. We've been working on our own capital group so that this capital group is more and more effective. And one of our goals is to deal with what we know best and what is the most important and core business for us. And with regard to other activities, we would like to invite partners who can, on one hand, serve us, and on the other hand, they are also capable of developing these businesses that we've created, for example, as for the Lotos Kolej, so that these companies can grow further, not necessarily being within the capital group of Lotos And of course, the advantages will be numerous, and I've been described them. So these are kind of the ways to restructuring of our assets. To build joint venture with the external partners, and this is the example of with our joint venture with BP, a company referring to the trading in jet fuel in Poland. Is not only one area where we think that such activity in combination with the foreign cooperation could be conducted, and we are working also on the projects which should end with a similar result. It means the inviting a partner having know-how, and also can also release this burden of some financial outlays if we are to develop these businesses ourselves. We're also restructuring our internal assets, and Mr. Scholz, the president, has mentioned. So we are concentrating on logistics assets. We will be also having very extensive and very deep restructuring of our assets in upstream segment. This is the historic consequence of certain links between the companies within the capital group, but we will be trying to make order in it. So first of all, to improve the transparency, organizational transparency, the financial transparency of those entities, and also to build the local competence centers in different areas and also in different types of activities, and also to facilitate the financial possibilities for the projects. This slide presents how we operate. Mr. Sokołowski mentioned that we are looking for new possibilities for releasing this tension, this burden, as for the coking complex in refinery Gdańsk. So you can see here the diagram illustrating this, but many refineries work in this system, so it means that they don't do everything themselves and on their own account, but they are supported and assisted by others who know certain part of business better. So as you can see here, the industrial gases and hydrogen. So there are companies which are specializing in this, which are building the installations and selling hydrogen, but not necessarily the petrochemical plant should do this. This is one of the directions we are heading for. We talked about the outsourcing and the distribution of coke. We've been having talks about it, about outsourcing this type of activity to the specialized entity in this field. I would like also to use the infrastructure which is nearby. If you remember that in the past Poland was exported millions of tons, but today this area is unutilized, and we would like also to utilize it. The distribution of coke could be done through the same channels as channel was distributed in the past. So we would like to utilize these channels better for our purposes. If we have a look at the novelty of these investment projects and their comprehensiveness, so the question is posed why we would like to structure them in order to realize them. Of course, if we can summarize this information that Mr. Sokołowski has delivered, so the amount that will be calculated is 8 billion zloty. Of course, Grupa LOTOS is not interested in realizing this on its own. In many cases, we are not aspiring even to be the bigger partner, but to realize this project, what is needed is analysis and the appropriate structuring of these projects and the structuring of the balance sheet of LOTOS Group. So on our side, we've estimated that our potential that is possible to dedicate to the realization of these development projects in the coming 4 years is around 6 billion zloty. The rest we can organize, we can arrange, and such analysis are pending now. Now we would like to have the summary from the president. Shortly, from this slide, you can see that all positive aspects of this program effectiveness and rise, that all these positive aspects are grasped here, and this positive image of transformations and the investment program, the increase of employment, which we are estimating at for the petrochemical 1,500. But if we take all these projects together, so I think that we have to double this figure. And this is very important because there are the new workplaces on our labor market. So investments into human capital, capital investments, more integration, business integration, the vertical integration, increasing of revenues. This is for LOTOS Group, this is considerable growth of revenues as compared to what LOTOS Group is generating now or reporting now. Of course, for the shareholders, it is the dividend payout and the increase of the return on the engaged capital. So we estimate that, as broken down into segments, the more funds will invest and the more will grow in exploration and production segment. So the shares should increase in the coming years, but thanks to these investments that Marek Sokołowski has mentioned in the production, it is a very important bit of the investment package and also the trading part. I would like to mention petrochemistry. This topic is signaled by us, but the main idea behind it is that we have competences. The Azoty Group is the main group which is competent in this topic. We talk today, we speak the same language because yesterday we've made such commitments. We made such commitments, but we will be learning as LOTOS from petrochemistry. So, but collectively, I think that we will still need to combine different ideas with also some foreign ideas and input. This is huge undertaking to talk about it when we have the first analysis, the first structure, what is the method of financing of this big undertaking. And I am convinced that this will be a very interesting project for our economy and also for Poland. How we perceive our positioning in the long and medium term time horizon, in medium term, so the regional company, and in the long term, the company more diversified based upon segments that were presented. So it means that that mainly the exploration of hydrocarbons and different operational activity regarding this petrochemical part and different positioning on the Polish market and on the foreign markets in terms of territorium. This is the northern part of Europe, a region of around Baltic region and Baltic Sea and Norwegian Sea. So we had this 10+ program sign. Now we have effectiveness and rise sign. We gave to the market what we assumed, even in a better way, in timely manner, with money that we analyzed and invested in our studies, in our business plan. We realized it in very difficult market conditions, this program 10+ today. I have no doubt that with the current composition of the management board, when we are presenting effectiveness and rise program, we also realize this program in a more interesting way, despite the fact that the market is not that optimistic at this moment, and it creates, I think, also interesting position for us because we are ready for this. That the market is a little bit unstable. We would prefer a stable market, but this changing market environment, I think that is also good for us because we know how to operate on such market, and we will take very well thought decisions for the activities that were presented, so that each of these projects and all of these projects should be also analyzed in depth prior to taking decisions by the management board or the supervisory board. So more thoughts should be put into the projects. And when we say, yes, we did, we'll communicate it to the market, we'll present the schedule. And then after some time, we can prove that we fulfilled the task effectively. Thank you very much for your attention. I would like to thank you on behalf of the management board for our presentation today. We had also an event because we had the supervisory board meeting on the strategy, and the head and the chairman Wiesław Skwarko of the supervisory board is with us. So maybe I would like to ask the chairman of the supervisory board, with his permission, to say a word which will kind of embrace and give the final touch to our presentation. Thank you very much. I would like to inform you that today's supervisory board approved the resolution accepting the Effectiveness and Rise program. And also, I would like to emphasize that we've been working on this program for a longer period of time. And some resolutions and some corporate decisions referring to the projects that the management board presented have already been taken. Creation of LOTOS MBP and the investments regarding of this hydrogen recovery unit, because this resolution has been passed, and such restructuring programs are also pending. Not only starting from this year, but they've been lasting for several years. And last year, we had a sale of the company LOTOS Paraffins, and that was a big success. That was the LOTOS subsidiary, and we can assume that the transaction was very beneficial. LOTOS is an example of a company which creates changes, which adapts to the changing world and the environment. But also, I would like to assure you, as the chairman of the supervisory board, LOTOS is also an example of stabilization in the good meaning of this word. And if we can, so when we met 5 years ago, when signing, for example, the agreements with the banks for the financing of 10+ programs, you will meet the same persons, the same members of the management board, with one exception. But as you can see, 1 year ago, the supervisory board appointed Mr. Paszkowicz, the director of 10+ program, to become the member of the management board. And I think that this stabilization, so well and deeply understood, will benefit the group. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much to the members of the management. Thank you very much to you. I think you have some questions, so the members of the management board are at your disposal. And I would like to thank you very much for the attention, and I would like to invite you to have some refreshments downstairs. Thank you.